Why are there not more people talking about the untold story of 2Pac and Biggie? Welcome to Bulletproof Entertainment. Don't forget to click on subscribe. From friends to foes, the rise and fall of a brotherhood. Tupac Shakur. The name alone evokes a whirlwind of emotions. A poet with a rebel's heart, Tupac's lyrics resonated with the streets. He was raw, real, and unapologetically himself. Then there was Biggie Smalls, the notorious Big hailing from the streets of Brooklyn. Biggie possessed an effortless flow, his words painting vivid pictures of life in the concrete jungle. In the early 90s, these two titans of hip-hop weren't rivals, they were friends. Tupac, already making waves on the West Coast, saw a kindred spirit in the up-and-coming Biggie. They shared stages, verses, and a mutual respect that seemed unbreakable. It was a brotherhood forged in the crucible of the music industry, two young artists navigating the treacherous waters of fame together. Their early collaborations hinted at a future of musical dominance. Tupac, with his fiery intensity, and Biggie, with his smooth, laid-back style, complemented each other perfectly. They were two sides of the same coin, each representing a different facet of the hip-hop experience. Tupac, the outspoken activist, used his music to shed light on social injustices, while Biggie, the master storyteller, captivated listeners with his tales of street life. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with, their music transcending geographical boundaries and uniting fans under the banner of raw, unfiltered hip-hop. But as their careers skyrocketed, so did the stakes. The music industry, with its cutthroat nature and insatiable appetite for drama, began to drive a wedge between the two friends. The East Coast-West Coast rivalry, initially a media fabrication, started to take root in the minds of fans and artists alike. Tupac, now firmly entrenched in the West Coast scene, found himself increasingly at odds with his former friend, who had become the face of East Coast rap. What had once been friendly competition morphed into a bitter feud, fueled by misunderstandings, escalating egos, and the ever-present influence of those who sought to profit from their discord. Shots fired, trust shattered, the Quad Studio incident. The night of November 30th, 1994, forever altered the course of hip-hop history. Tupac Shakur, on his way to record at Quad Recording Studios in New York City, was the victim of a brutal attack. Shot 5 times and robbed of his jewelry, Tupac miraculously survived the assault. But the physical wounds paled in comparison to the damage inflicted on his psyche. Paranoid and suspicious, Tupac became convinced that Biggie and his associates were behind the shooting. Although Biggie vehemently denied any involvement, the seeds of doubt had been sown. The shooting at Quad Studios was a turning point in the relationship between Tupac and Biggie. The incident shattered the remnants of their friendship, replacing it with a deep-seated mistrust and animosity. Tupac, already known for his volatile temper, felt betrayed by someone he had once considered a brother. He saw the shooting as a calculated attempt on his life, a message from his former friend that their rivalry had escalated to a dangerous level. The incident became a festering wound, poisoning any chance of reconciliation and propelling both artists down a path of no return. Adding fuel to the fire were the whispers and rumors that circulated within the hip-hop community. Some claimed that Biggie had prior knowledge of the attack, while others alleged that he had orchestrated the entire ordeal. The lack of concrete evidence only served to deepen the mystery and intensify the animosity between the two camps. Tupac, feeling betrayed and vulnerable, retreated further into himself, his paranoia and anger growing with each passing day. The once unbreakable bond between two of hip-hop's brightest stars had been irrevocably broken, replaced by a dangerous cocktail of suspicion, revenge, and fear. East Coast versus West Coast, fueling the flames of rivalry. The rivalry between Tupac and Biggie transcended personal animosity. It became a microcosm of a larger cultural clash, the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. Hip-hop, once a unified movement born on the streets of New York City, had spread across the nation, taking root in new cities and evolving into distinct regional styles. The East Coast, with its gritty realism and boom-bap beats, was seen as the birthplace of hip-hop, while the West Coast, known for its funk-infused melodies and gangsta rap narratives, represented a new wave of innovation and rebellion. Tupac and Biggie, unwittingly or not, became figureheads for their respective coasts. Tupac, with his West Coast affiliations and fiery rhetoric, embodied the spirit of California hip-hop, while Biggie, hailing from the streets of Brooklyn, became synonymous with the East Coast sound. Their rivalry, fueled by personal animosity and media hype, became a proxy war for supremacy in the world of hip-hop. Fans pledged allegiance to their chosen coast, often resorting to violence and aggression to defend their idols. The East Coast-West Coast rivalry was more than just a musical debate, it was a cultural phenomenon that seeped into every facet of hip-hop. Clothing styles, slang, and even dance moves became markers of regional identity, further dividing the hip-hop community. The rivalry, fueled by media sensationalism and the inherent competitiveness of the music industry, created a climate of fear, paranoia, and violence. It was a dangerous game, one that ultimately claimed the lives of both Tupac and Biggie, leaving an indelible scar on the world of hip-hop. Hit 'Em Up, a diss track heard around the world. In 1996, Tupac Shakur unleashed a lyrical Molotov cocktail that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world. Hit 'Em Up. The song, a scathing diss track aimed squarely at Biggie Smalls and his Bad Boy Records cohorts, was a no-holds-barred assault on everything Tupac believed they represented. With its venomous lyrics and menacing beat, Hit 'Em Up became an anthem for the West Coast, a rallying cry for those who felt that Biggie and his crew had crossed a line. Hit 'Em Up was more than just a diss track, it was a declaration of war. Tupac held nothing back, accusing Biggie of copying his style, claiming to have slept with his wife, Faith Evans, and threatening him with violence. The song's impact was immediate and profound, further escalating the East Coast-West Coast rivalry and pushing the feud between Tupac and Biggie to a boiling point. It was a line in the sand, a clear message that there was no turning back from the path they had chosen. The song's release sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Fans and critics alike were stunned by the level of vitriol and aggression displayed by Tupac. Some condemned the song as being irresponsible and inflammatory, while others praised it as a raw and honest expression of anger and frustration. Regardless of one's stance on the matter, there was no denying the impact of Hit 'Em Up. It became a defining moment in hip-hop history, a stark reminder of the destructive power of words and the dangerous consequences of unchecked rivalry.